Doing good this morning. Doing good.
You have flashbacks?
Flashbacks?
When you used to do this with us?
Oh, it's the Chick-fil-A here. That was always, the payoff. You come do the interviews. My man Tim had a Chick-fil-A box waiting for me. So, hey, nothing like we didn't have the Paul Bistro downstairs, so the Chick-fil-A always came in handy on a nice Tuesday.
That was name, image, likeness back then.
Name, image, likeness. I guess that was the best we had. So, I tried to make it work. But no, it was always great to come and talk to y'all guys. It always was entertaining and fun and, tough questions and, after, tough losses and great questions after some big wins. So it was always a pleasure to get in front of you guys and try.
Everybody knows how special Clemson's always been to you. What went through your mind when you found out you were going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor?
To be honest with you, still trying to wrap my mind around it. I think I was talking to Tim or maybe Ross earlier that I truly don't think it's really not going to hit me until December 7th, to be honest with you. It truly is an honor to be getting inducted with so many great players and coaches, but I really haven't had too much of a downtime to really think about the whole magnitude of it, of going into the College Football Hall of Fame, because, when you think about that, so many guys that played this sport, so many great coaches that coach it, and, there's still great players that deserve to be in. So to be going in, it truly is an honor for me, not only for me, but, for this university, for our fans, for my family, for all my supporters that's been with me since day one. So it's going to be a remarkable night. I'm looking forward to it, to spend that night amongst family and friends.
How about on Saturday? What's going to be going through your mind, and how we have butterflies being on the field, being attributed by the fans?
Probably will have some butterflies. Gonna be I'm not a huge, big emotional person, I guess you can say, but to have my daughter there, that's going to be a special moment that I'm going to get to share with her, because she was young when I was playing. She was like 4 years old by the time I left Clemson. So, she was little. She didn't really get an opportunity to really grasp how I played here. So for her to be able to sit in the stands, and they'll probably have some type of video, I'm probably assuming. So for her to be able to see that and witness that and be there on that day, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is sharing that moment with her.
How much does she understand about your career and the type of impact you had at Clemson and on college football?
Well, when we go out to eat, she understands it a lot. She understands it. She knows, I guess, what I meant to this university and the way that I carried myself. So she always giving me a hard time, especially, like I said, when we go out to eat or if we just walking down the street or something, downtown Greenville, and, people having to come up, she'll wait probably till we get in the car or we get back home, and she'll go to talking about, hey, can I get an autograph? And so she go to tease me, and now that, she's up in age and the school that she's attends down in Orlando, one thing is the dean of student, he's a Clemson grad, which is ironic. So she has an opportunity to talk to his name is Dr. Bates. She gets the chance to talk to him, and he's always, obviously he wears his Clemson ring. So that little small connection there, and kids, they know when I go down there for, parent day, and, they knew who I am. So they always, they go to her to ask for the autograph now, especially the little gentlemen, as I call them. They'll go to her and ask for my autograph, and sometimes I'm nice to them. Sometimes it just depends.
I guess if you were still somewhere else, maybe coaching track at Liberty and coming as a visitor, it'd be easy to put your sole focus on being honored.
Yeah.
But having a demanding job and working that day.
Right.
Is that going to, compartmentalizing it, is that going to be a challenge, just sort of emotionally, I guess?
Yeah, I have a great idea how I'm going to be able to handle both of those too. Obviously the most important thing is making sure that the guys, my running backs are prepared for the game and keeping the right perspective. So with the gracious of our head coach with Coach Sweeney giving me the opportunity to even go out there at halftime and be able to accept this, I guess you'd call it award or whatever. I'm very appreciative of that, but I'm gonna go in there at halftime and make the corrections that need to be made for the first half, and then once that 8-minute mark hit, I shift my focus over to enjoying that and spending those few moments with my family and friends, and then after that, it's back to the task, and that's making sure we try to go out there and get a win.
You've had such a long and successful career here. Do you remember the first day walking through this building, the first day of practice, and all that, and what you were feeling as a young kid?
Yeah, I was nervous, but the good thing about it is that I always reference my man, Mr. Beret, Tim, is that we always done like media sessions, so I was very well equipped with that standpoint. But you're always anxious because you come in as a highly recruited guy. People want to know, can you do it on this level? And the main thing for me was just going out there, just being myself. And then it was my first time being away from home for a long time. All those emotions was piling in. But once I step on the practice field, I mean, to me, it's all about football. All the outside stuff, that stuff don't even faze me. I don't even worry about that stuff because my focus is on how can I get better as a player. How could I help my team win? But the first day was just all about just gaining the respect of your teammates because that's what you have to do as a freshman. They don't care if you was a 1-star or 5-star. It's all about gaining their respect, and I had the right perspective on that, and that was my sole focus coming into that day one of fall camp, is just really gaining the respect of my teammates. Because if you really look at that roster in 2006, it was a veteran team on both sides of the ball. You had a veteran offensive line, you had a veteran defense led by Anthony Waters, and for offense it was led by Roman Fry and Nathan Bennett. So it was just all about just gaining those guys' respect because I didn't come in early, so they was only going by what they seen by the highlights. I think YouTube was back then, so they were just going by that. So to me, it was just all about just how can I gain these guys' respect in the right way. And you had Gaines Adams. I remember Gaines coming up to me after a couple fall practices and just telling me that if I stay focused, I have a chance to be a special player. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's that eventually been the number 4 pick in the NFL draft. Had a great career here at Clemson. A guy that as time went on, I truly respected as a man. And so for him to come and tell me that as a young player, it meant a lot. And same thing with Anthony Waters. He used to always come and sit down by my locker and just talk to me. The inside joke was first camp day he came up and said, "Hey, you're not gonna do what James did," and I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea that James had left during fall camp the previous year. So he was like, "Hey, you're not gonna do what James did." I'm like, "What did he do?" And he was like, "Well, he left during fall camp." Well, I'm like, "I'm 6 hours away, so I don't think I'm gonna be leaving fall camp." So it was just him just being himself and just at the same time just keeping me loose too as well. Because you're nervous, you're anxious, and you're trying to deal, trying to learn a playbook and all those things. So he did a great job of just keeping me loose and just keeping me focused on the main thing.
CJ, when you had so many opportunities, even when you were a player, to leave Clemson, maybe transfer, go to the NFL, but you always came back, and then after your NFL career is over, you come back again. Why does Clemson have such a pull to you that you keep coming back?
Well, I mean, you referenced those, times I was thinking about leaving, and I always tell people those was emotional times for me. And one advice I always been given, that I always was given, was that you never want to make an emotional decision. And those were some of those times that I was going through, was getting ready to make an emotional decision. So after I had the opportunity to really sit down and really come off, I guess you call that cloud nine, and really focus and really think about what I was getting ready to do, it made sense for me to stay at Clemson, because on signing day of 2006, I made a commitment, and it wasn't, I didn't put Clemson on a yearly type ordeal. You know, it was a lifetime commitment. So once I, sat down and really realized that, it made this decision a whole lot easier. Now, when you're talking about, having an opportunity to go play in the NFL and coming back for school, you're talking about a dream. You're talking about, a life-changing event for not only yourself but for your family. And the biggest thing for me was just, having conversations with my grandmother when she was a custodian, going to help her in high school. And she always used to just tell me that education was the most important thing that I can ever have in my life. And, again, once I had that 6-hour ride with the radio off back up to Clemson, those conversations started creeping back up in my head. Y'all guys didn't know because y'all didn't know what I was going to do. But on the way back, I knew I was coming back to Clemson. I knew I was coming back for my senior year because of those conversations that I had, because she always stressed the importance of education. And I was at the doorsteps of graduating. And, I had a younger sister that I wanted to be an example of, letting her know that, hey, man, it doesn't matter how great of an athlete you are and or whatnot. If you don't have your education, it means nothing. And that was my message, to her and to all the kids back in Lake Butler. I don't care how great of an athlete you are. If you don't have your education, it means nothing. And then once I decided to stop playing in the NFL, I always knew I wanted to do something with Clemson. I just didn't know what it was, obviously. I just, this place is just special. I think it's the people. Well, I don't think I know it's the people that drew me back. When I was deciding if I was going to live here or live down in Tampa, Florida, because that was the other destination I was thinking about moving to once I got done, the people just always just came back to my mind, how special they were, not only during my time of playing, but every time I came back while I was playing in the National Football League, how they just a warm reception, that makes sense. And to me, that meant more to me than anything else. So I just knew I just wanted to, I guess you'd call it, pay it back, just a small token of having some type of connection with this university. If that was being an ambassador or a spokesman or whatever the case may be, that's what I was willing to do, because I just knew that this place was special. And if not only athletes, but if kids in general just came here and visit our campus, they'll see how special it was. And I wanted to be an advocate for that. And so for me now to have the opportunity to do that as the running backs coach here, I'm able to go and share that message with young athletes across the country.
Coach, you mentioned your grandmother working at your high school. I hear tell that on your long run, she used to run after you down the sideline.
Yeah.
Was she your biggest fan back in those days?
Yeah, she was my biggest fan. She's the one my grandmother's the one that got me started with football. Obviously my mom, she worked at a nursing home, so her hours was, weird. She came to some games, wasn't able to make those, the Pop Warner days. I don't know if some of y'all, I'm pretty sure, got some kids here. If you played Pop Warners, those 8 o'clock morning games, she wasn't able to make, so my grandmother took me. We'll meet up at Hardee's, right there in my local hometown, and you have the little carpool. Everybody go to the same destination, and she'll be right there with her lawn chair in the stands. She was the biggest fan and my biggest critic, I guess you can say, because she would let me know right after the game what I did wrong, from a body language standpoint, from a playing standpoint, from the way I control my tongue, because I was, y'all probably don't know, I'm not a huge talker, but on the football field, I'm probably the biggest trash talker. So, she always, used to give me pointers of what I can and can't do. So, I wish she was here physically to share this moment with me, but I know she'll be smiling down, happy, and just proud. Just proud.
Anything for CJ from Zoom? All right, thank you very much for your time, CJ.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Congratulations.